After much deliberation and debate about what the Raptors would do in the NBA draft with the 13th overall pick, Toronto has drafted Kansas freshman Gradey Dick. Outside of the lavish fit and his admiration for Drake, I'm assuming most people in Toronto don't know much about him or his game. So here is a quick little breakdown. Dick is originally from Wichita, Kansas, but in high school, he was an All-American and even played at the Nike Hoop Summit. In 2021, he committed to staying at home for college in Kansas, and now a year later, he's headed to Toronto to be a crucial part of the Raptors organization. Now, how does Dick fit with what the Raptors want to do? He didn't have staggering numbers in college as a freshman, averaging just over 14 points, 5 rebounds, and just under 2 assists. If you are interested in some of the advanced metrics, which are actually super important for college, Raptors Republic's Louis Zatzman tweeted it out yesterday right here. And the numbers, definitely check out. But the thing that will catch your eye is his potency from behind the arc. And that's where his importance to Toronto's plans begins. Dick is an excellent shooter, among the best in his draft class, knocking down over 40% of his threes through the course of a season on just under 6 attempts a game. From the film I've seen, a lot of his shot diet from behind the arc was off of catch and shoot and spot up opportunities. And for a Raptors team that has struggled in the shooting department over the last few seasons, Dick fits the build of what they desperately need. He's 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan, and that makes his shot really tough to block or contest when a defender is closing out. And he has an incredible knack for always staying ready, squaring his shoulders and keeping his feet pointed towards the rim at all times. This seems like an area that Dick can contribute in right away on the Raptors, and it's no doubt his most translatable skill to the pro level. What makes it even more potent is that when a defender is trying to run him off the line, or if they close out well, Dick is balanced enough that he can do a side dribble 3 or step into threes or mid-range shots to keep defenses honest. He doesn't get rushed when it comes to these shots, and that's a really good sign for how this shot translates to the pro level. He's also excellent at relocating into open space to find his threes, especially in transition where he is really effective at settling into a shot on the go. Shooting is by far Gradey's best offensive skill, but he provides a plethora of other things offensively too. He is a great off-ball mover and cutter, who was found on a lot of backdoor cuts this season in Kansas. This skill right here should bode extremely well in the Raptors' new system that will be head up by head coach Darko Rajakovic, who emphasizes ball movement, player movement, and cutting in his offensive system. On top of that, this skill pairs extremely well with Scottie Barnes, who is a cerebral passer who can make split-second decisions on the go and find cutters regularly. In fact, between the floor spacing and cutting Gradey provides, he's the perfect fit next to a guy like Barnes, and their two-man game could be potent from day one. Think of what Bam Adebayo and Duncan Robinson do for the Miami Heat and their two-man connection and dribble handoff scenarios. Or this season, Kevin Huerter and Domantas Sabonis. Scottie is such a willing and selfless passer, and Dick is such a good mover and shooter that it is the perfect combination. On top of that, Dick has shown some serious potential of being a good connective passer, which should also fit well in Rajakovic's system. While Dick isn't necessarily an initiator that can create for others, he's great at making the extra pass, or attacking closeout and kicking it out to an open shooter. And this is important for what Dick's potential ceiling is, because as he develops, teams will continue to run him off the line because of his potent three-point shot. The faster and better he is with decisions, the higher his offensive ceiling will be, especially with the new-look Raptors under Rajakovic. The two swing skills for Gradey as an offensive weapon will be how much he grows as a pull-up shooter and shot creator. From what I've seen, not a lot of tape shows a lot of highlights in that area. He doesn't have the quickest first step, and he isn't necessarily bursty or hyper athletic, so it's tough for him to blow by defenders and create that way. But again, he's 6'8", and once he fills out a little bit more, he might be able to create some separation for himself using his size and strength. On the defensive end, Dick is skinnier and has a more slender frame, so I can imagine him struggling, at least initially, on the defensive end to deal with bigger, stronger bodies of the NBA. And he doesn't necessarily have the foot speed to keep up with quicker, faster guards, so if he switches out onto someone that is very quick, it could spell trouble. Overall though, he does show potential to one day be a good to neutral defender in the NBA, especially because of his size. Typically, you can get away with being just a neutral defender if you have the size to make up for it, and Dick very clearly will be able to do that standing at 6'8" with a plus wingspan. It's not all potential with Dick on defense though. There have been some serious flashes from the film I've seen of him being able to stay with defenders, be sound technically on that end, and work within the team scheme, which will be very important with the way the Raptors like to play on that end. Speaking of his wingspan, I think that's something that will help him almost immediately defensively. Dick averaged over 1.5 steals per game in Kansas last year, and a lot of those were as a weak side defender picking off passes. He knows how to use his length to fill passing lanes, and again, just his sheer size makes his ability to become a positive defender even easier. It probably won't happen right away. It rarely does for rookies, to be honest, but he has the potential to hold his own on that end. At a floor level, Gradey should be able to contribute to the Raptors right away as a shooter, connective passer, and a guy who can move without the ball. And if he improves as a shot creator, if he adds more pull-up shooting to his game, then there's some real genuine star potential there. That's why he is such a great fit for a Raptors team that is still mulling its options about which direction to go. If they decide to run this team back, this exact same team, Dick is a guy who can contribute right away. If they decide to retool around Barnes and some of their younger players, there's almost no better pairing in the draft than Gradey. And that is your very quick, very brief breakdown of why Gradey Dick is the perfect fit and pick for the Raptors. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button and follow us on social media.